Is the MCU over? Is it dead? Honestly, I feel like this topic has been beaten to death over the last couple of years. The better question is, will it ever achieve the same status again that superhero media dominated over the last decade? Just look at how we started after Endgame. We got WandaVision. Great. And then we got Falcon and the Winter Soldier. It was all right at best. But then we got Loki, which was incredible. And then around the same time Black Widow was released, to mixed reviews, but mostly negative, and who could blame them? It was the first time we asked, why are they making this project? But it certainly wouldn't be the last. So do you see what I'm getting at here? Good, bad. Good, bad. I really think they've just diluted the waters too much. There's too many projects to keep up with. You might not even understand who some of the characters are unless you paid for the streaming service. Not everyone loves the idea of paying a monthly subscription to keep up with the MCU. That fact alone has had a dampening effect on Marvel. Sorry, Bob. I love you no matter what I'm saying right now. Marvel's inconsistency has lost the trust of fans, so it's no longer guaranteed that going to see the next Marvel movie is going to be a good time. Don't forget about the troubles that have been happening off-screen too. Yeah, I'm looking at you, Jonathan Majors. Almost the entire next saga was centered around his character. Fans knew it, they were excited about it, and then we got the legal troubles. Not to mention Quantumania's poor performance, and there's the super popular rumor that Marvel might just abandon the Kang saga entirely. You know, that same one that they had planned since 2020. It's like promising a child they're gonna get a cool Nerf gun and going, psych. From the beginning of Phase 4, everyone was trying to piece the puzzle together with Kang, and now it's just ripped away. Can you really blame fans for losing trust and saying the MCU is over? And speaking of puzzles being put together, it feels like we've barely been given any pieces either. There's been little crossover between characters like we used to see in previous phases. I mean, besides attempting to set up the Young Avengers, it's like everyone is getting their own standalone movie or project, and we're not getting anything like we used to previously see in movies like Captain America Civil War, or Iron Man mentoring Peter in Spider-Man Homecoming, or even Hulk playing a major role in Thor Ragnarok. Don't get me wrong here, some films have had the vibe that we're looking for. I still don't know what movie had the better crowd, Spider-Man No Way Home or Avengers Endgame. The energy in those theaters were electric, but comparing that movie theater vibe to something like the Marvel's premiere opening weekend couldn't be more opposite. Oftentimes now, it seems like people are only talking about Marvel films as if they're expecting it to bomb or almost hoping for that. Then there's the whole woke conversation. All I'm gonna say on this one is that I think the culture war, it started to influence how people felt about these movies, regardless if the film had any potential to be good. With all these things that we've discussed so far, what's one major thing that has stuck out? Marvel is still heavily talked about. If something is over, is it really discussed this much? Not to mention, this is a business we are talking about. Disney, one of the largest corporations in the world. Say whatever you want about them, but those shareholders love their money and they're gonna make sure that they get it. So why would these guys with millions of dollars keep making projects if it wasn't profitable overall? Besides, Marvel is still making good movies. It's just not as consistent as before, and that's what has been surprising. People are still liking the movies. Spider-Man, amazing. Sony, you really do need to give up the rights here. Guardians 3, incredible. Secret Invasion with Samuel L. Jackson, one of the most amazing TV shows ever made. Just kidding. We've had some extremely fresh takes in these phases, and they don't get enough credit. The dawn of the multiverse in No Way Home, crossing over with former actors Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield, is easily one of the top 3 moments across any piece of Marvel ever made. I would even argue that it's comparable to Avengers Endgame, but that's probably a discussion for another video. Let's also not forget how fun and weird the beginning of WandaVision was when we were all just trying to make sense of everything. Had never seen something like that done in Marvel before. Then there was Loki in the TVA. I mean, the concepts of variants, it sparked all our imaginations wondering what type of storytelling they could do with this by going down different avenues. You got a seriously toned but still hilariously lovable movie in Guardians, which was a perfect farewell send out to the crew. Not to forget the brilliant idea that they had with the What If series. The idea was so loved that fans across different media wanted to see it done to their stories like in Star Wars. Do you get it? there's no denying that they are making some good movies and TV shows. The proof is there. And Disney and Marvel have publicly acknowledged that they focus too much on quantity of projects rather than their quality. And considering the future release schedule, it's hard to think that Marvel will fall into irrelevance. Irrelevancy? What do you say there? Very soon, Deadpool 3 is going to be released. Just look at what it's done so far. The trailer broke records when it debuted in the Super Bowl. Hard to imagine it's going to be bad with Hugh Jackman's Wolverine returning, but we're not going to make that assumption because of how Marvel has been behaving these last few years. And sure, you could argue it's a former Fox property, but it's a superhero movie nonetheless. But how about we consider a future TV show instead? Like, I don't know, Daredevil Born Again? If you're a Marvel fan and you've even slightly been on social media, you've seen something about this show. Charlie Cox and the original crew has returned, fans are eager, and this really could be the start of something huge for Marvel if the rumors about Kingpin becoming the big street level threat for the MCU are true. Then the next few movies, Captain America 4 and the Thunderbolts. I'm gonna be honest here, it's going to be interesting to see anyone else take on Captain America's role besides Steve Rogers, but with Harrison Ford joining the movie, there's some reason to be excited. And then the Thunderbolts. Probably mixed excitement if I'm being honest on this one. Will we like this team? I mean, I probably will a little bit because Florence is leading the way, but how well do we really know anybody else besides Bucky? On the other hand, Marvel really has never failed when it comes to a massive ensemble team-up type movie. And then what else is up after that? The freaking Fantastic Four and the last two Avengers movies. One of them being Secret Wars. Forget about Kang, forget about the Secret Invasion show. Everything we've seen in the multiverse saga is laying the groundwork for an insane Secret Wars movie. We've had actors return that we would have never guessed in 1,000 years. Then just the other day, RDJ came out and said he would happily return to the MCU and to never bet against Kevin Feige. Think what you will, but that is publicity on a huge subject that fans have been theorizing since 2019. And back to the Fantastic Four, the internet blew up when they announced the cast. With all the mistakes that have been made to the Fantastic Four franchise in the past, Marvel is probably laser focused on making this project their new foundation. So these future projects are building excitement, even if it's mixed with some speculation, which is completely understandable after the last 5 years. Regardless, there's still huge potential for Marvel Studios to achieve big and come back. And we didn't even mention the X-Men. Back to our original questions one last time. Is the MCU over? Absolutely not. Sure, it no longer retains its former glory. It was shocking to learn that Marvel isn't invincible like we all thought they were, but it is long from done and over. The last 5 years have been inconsistent at worst, but the future is looking bright. It's clear that they've learned from their mistakes and that they're adjusting their plan because they have insane potential with all the characters they have under their belt now, like the Fantastic Four and the X-Men. But will superheroes ever achieve the same status like they held in the last decade? My honest answer is no. No, they will not. I think they're gonna go through seasons like we've seen in phases 4 and 5. They'll have some awesome movies and get everybody talking, but do I think we're ever going to experience that same feeling we had walking into Avengers Endgame? Probably not. I would love to be wrong here. It is possible for them to achieve their former status, but it is an uphill battle at the moment. They need to deliver on every single project they release. 10 out of 10, no exception. The potential is there, but only time will tell. Regardless of everything, I'm excited for the future of Marvel. It's going to be interesting to see how everything plays out. Are we still going to be talking about Marvel in 10 to 15 years from now? Are we going to get something like Avengers 15? Maybe we should revisit this video in a couple years and see how we feel. If that's something you'd like to see, feel free to drop a comment below. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to click subscribe.